Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create a simple interaction system in Unreal Engine 5.6. This video is going to be perfect if you're new and just starting out, or if you need a refresher. So we will start by creating a new project. So in the project, when you launch Unreal Engine 6, most of the time you'll end up in recent projects, but if you want to create a new project, you will go to the games. Then there's some different options for you to choose from. There's a blank project, first person project, third person project, top down, handheld AR, virtual reality, and vehicle. For this tutorial, I'll be using the third person. So on the left hand at the bottom, you'll see there's the project location. This is where you want to save your project. So mine will be in E drive. And on the right hand side, we will have blueprints and C++. So I'm going to be using blueprints. The targeted platform, I will have desktop. Quality, there's maximum and scalable. You can choose either one. I just like selecting scalable. Variation, the one I'll be choosing will be none, but there is others you can choose from. And then my project name, I'll just put in tutorial. But you can name it anything you want. And then once you finish putting in your name, you can just press on create. Okay, so when the project opens up, this is how it looks. So firstly, we want to start off with making the interaction system. So by content browser, we can click on content browser. Then we can go to inputs. You can actually do it here if you want, but I like putting it in the appropriate files. So input, then we're going to go to actions. Now we're going to create a new action. So we will right click, input action, and I'm going to name this IA underscore interact. Just so that I know that this is going to be the interaction key. You can go into it, double click it. Now in here you don't actually have to change anything, you can just save it and then exit. Now back to content browser. Now we're going to click back on input and we're going to go into IMC default. Once you click in there, you see here by action mappings, if you click on mappings, the little arrow there, you'll see there's AI jump, AI move, AI look. So by mappings we want to press the add icon, the plus. And now we want to select the new action mapping we made, which was AI interact. So you can select that one, and then you can click on the arrow for the drop down, and you'll see there's the keyboard, and you can just press on the keyboard and select whichever key you want for the interaction. In this case, I'm going to be using the E key. So I can just press the E key, and there it shows you it selects the E key. You can use any key that you want for your interaction, but E key is the one that's mostly used. So I'm going to save this and then exit it again. Open up my content browser, and then in here I'm going to create a new blueprint. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to blueprint, and this one will be the blueprint interface. So I'm going to name this BP underscore interact interface, and then enter. Now we can double click and go into blueprint, BP interact interface. Now we just want to change the function name so that it'll be easy for us to find. So here by function name, I'm just going to put interact interface. Okay, once you've named it, you can just compile and save. Then we can exit again. Now we have to navigate our way to our first person or third person blueprint. So we can click on content, click for your first person or third person file. So in this case it's third person, then blueprints, then BP third person character or BP first person character. So we double click here. So first thing I want to do is I want this tutorial to have the true first person view. for the next few videos I'm going to use that view. So you can leave it as it is, or if you want a true first person, you can change this camera. So on the camera boom, you can delete that if you want to make it a true first person. Then the follow camera, you will drag it over the mesh so that it's socketed into the mesh. So on camera, when you select camera, by parent socket, I'm going to choose head because I want the camera to be in the head. And then let's just reposition this camera. So we can put it here. We can rotate it because it's on its side, 90 degrees. And then put the camera forward. That should do for now. So next thing we have to do with the camera, we have to scroll down and say use control pawn rotation. That will help so that the camera can look left and right with the mouse. And then on the BP third person character class, we have to get the yaw. That's for the up and down for the camera. So YAW yaw. And we select use controller rotation yaw. We can compile and save. I can minimize this quickly and check that it works. Okay. So we can look around, we can run around, we see parts of our character. Okay. Now we can go back into the blueprint. And now we're going to set up the code for, or the blueprint for the line trace so that we can interact with items. So we can go to event craft, we can look for an open space, and now we're gonna right click and we're gonna get a new input action. So we can say enhanced. So enhanced action events, we're gonna select AI interact. So from here we're gonna click on the arrow to get more options. We want to use the started. If you use triggered, it's gonna let the event go off a few times, but we just wanted to go off one time, so we're gonna use the started. We'll drag it out. Now we want to get line trace by channel. Line trace by channel. We select line trace by channel. Now we're going to be using our follow camera. So the line trace will start by our follow camera and end by a desired location. So from follow camera, we'll have to get its world location. Get world location. We can plug that into start. Now from follow camera, we have to get the endpoint where we want it to end as well. So get world rotation. So now we get world rotation. Okay, so from get world rotation, we want to get a forward vector. Get forward vector. Now from the forward vector, we want to multiply. You can press the times key, the multiply button will start, select multiply, and we need to add. So we can press the plus, add. Just change this one. And then from world location, you can add it in there. So now on the B vector from the multiply, we just want to change this to float single precision. So this will be a number. How far do you want the line trace to travel? So we can say 750 maybe. And then from the return from the add or the plus, we can select here and go to end. Now from the line trace, we need a branch. There's two ways to get a branch. You can just drag it off and type branch. Or you can just hold the B key on your keyboard and click. That will also give you a branch. So from out hit actors, we are looking for break hit results. And we can click on the arrow to get more options. So break hit results, we have the hit actor. So when it hits something, so now we need to check if it does implement does object implement interface. So if the item that you hit implements this interface, it will be true, and then true will trigger the interface, which then triggers the event that you have in the blueprint. So by interface, we're going to choose BP interact interface, and then the return value is a boolean, so we're going to put it into conditions. So from true, we'll drag it out and we will say interact interface. This message is what we want. So the target here we'll put on hit actor, and then by line trace by channel, I just normally select for duration. That's just to see the line trace on your camera. So let's go over it. So from the enhance input action, from started, we go to line trace by channel. We'll pull the follow camera into the scene, then get world location, from world location to the start, and then again from the follow camera to get world rotation, from world rotation to forward vector, from forward vector to a multiply, then right click on the multiply and convert this to a float precision, from the out of the multiply to an add, connect the world location and the add together and put it in the end. Then from out to hit break hit results. Then from hit actor we need does implement interface, and then from the line trace by channel you pull it out and get a branch, and then connect does object implement interface to branch, and then from the branch you'll get the interact interface message, and then from the target back into the hit actor. Now we can compile and save. We can press play and we can press E. It is our line trace. Okay, let's just put something in the level to see if it works. So now content, I'll go to content. I'm just going to make a new folder here called blueprints. Okay, I'm going to go into this folder, and now I'm going to create a new blueprint. So we can go up to blueprint class, right click and go to blueprint class, and now here's some different classes. We just want to use the actor for this, so we select actor and name it BP underscore test. That's all I'm going to name it. So we go into it, double click into it, and I can just add, what do I want? I want a cube. For this one I'm just going to add in a cube. I can scale it down a little bit, compile it and save quickly. Now I'm going to go to event graph. So if you want something to have the interface implemented into it, we'll go to class settings, and on the right hand side, implement interface, we add, and then get our interact interface, blueprint interact interface, and then it will appear on the left. From there we double click on it and it will get event interact interface. So now if we hit that cube, we just want something to happen. So now we can say print string hello. Okay, we can say interface works. You can put anything in there. Interface works. Compile and save. Now let's drag this cube into the level. Press play. Let's see. If we hit it and it works, it will say on the screen. So interface works. So on the left hand side on top, when we click, it says interface works. But if we click on something else, we don't get anything. But if we click on the cube, E on the cube, it says interface works. So the interface is working. So we have an interact interface that we can use now on the doors, lights, etc. So now in the next video, it will be about doors making doors. So I'm going to have a whole series on different kinds of doors you can make, how they work. And after that, it will be the same for lights, different kinds of lights, how you can get them working. So I'll have a variety of doors, a variety of lights, and then maybe the next one will be start menus, or maybe something else. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. See you in the next one.